Hey there, Booktube. Noah. Everyone who reads it must converse is the channel here. Thanks for coming by again, for sure. And today is Friday. Traditionally on Booktube, it's kind of like a wrap-up day. People give their wrap-ups for the week and whatever, all that kind of action. This is going to be a bit of that, but also just kind of projected what I'm looking at and some ideas for the channel. I'm going to go through a lot of topics. This is kind of, how I do on these kind of loose book chat kind of videos. So Scott over at Shelfware and I have been killing the Dan Simmons Hyperion series. You'll probably be aware. This one's done. It was great. More kind of set up like the first Hyperion novel, and then Fall of Hyperion was just kind of all out, all action, all out. And then in Endymion we have another kind of setup book, even though there is a lot of action and awesomeness, especially in the latter half of the book. But I'm on to Rise of Endymion. Now this is the last book in Dan Simmons' Hyperion cantos. The 4 books that comprise the Hyperion series. I'm about halfway through. This is, let's see, I'm about at chapter 16. It is amazing. I'm in chapter 16, and I'm crushing. I'm gonna crush through this. This is what's gonna get done first. I'll probably finish it. I'm gonna try to finish it this weekend, and we'll see how that goes. And that'll be the next kind of video that I focus on for my philosophical sci-fi series that I started on my channel. I love philosophical sci-fi, and so Dan Simmons' Hyperion is definitely in that vein. It might even be, some kind of spiritual sci-fi book, kind of fit into a spiritual sci-fi genre. It's amazing. It's really, really good as far as ideas and things like that. The writing is a little bit less than what I am used to as far as, just erudite, I guess, just real higher level literature, something like that. But for a fun, killer read, it is the way to go. Something like Philip K. Dick, Philip K. Dick was not a great writer as far as his word usage, and he wasn't writing literature, and that's how this is. It's just a great story. Dan Simmons does action so well. Last night we finally got everybody together, and we have a little bit more people in on reading Perdido Street Station by China Mieville. I've started it. When we finally got, I was so excited about this book. When we got the group together and really got organized, I read the first chapter. This is awesome. And who's in on this? Mark Richardson over at Richardson Reads. Ernestly Eston, his channel's awesome. Becky and Scott over at the Bookish Bryants, and myself. Weird fiction, totally out of the box thinking, and a wild story is what this is, and I can't wait to get more. The first chapter just really puts you right in there. We meet our main character. We meet a kind of shadowy figure that I don't know, too much about. Just saw him coming into the city, and we're off on that one. So I'm going to be reading that right now as well. I'm going to focus on finishing the Dan Simmons Hyperion cantos, finish that up, and then and I'm reading China Mieville's Perdido Street Station. Shout out to Josh over at Working Man Reads. This guy is just a great guy. Just a very authentic dude, doing, pretty much what I do here. just let you into the reading life and let you know what we like, why we like it, turn people on, get people reading. I mean, reading is this kind of lost art. Reading and writing, really. I mean, it's amazing for me to see how many people, can't really even write on a level that allows them to really express themselves. It's sad. But that kind of thing, if you want to be a better writer, then read. Read words, read writing. So Josh at Working Man Reads hooked me up just out of the kindness of his heart. I mean, this guy's a great guy. I had expressed interest in a book that is weird horror as well, just real weird horror, and that is The Hanover Block by Gregor Zane. The Hanover Block here. It's part of a series, but this is the first book. It's very short, you can see, and it is going to be just a crush. I'll just burn through this in no time. I'll probably read it in a couple of days, maybe even a day. Very, very, very cool. Looks cool. Might just be some fun right there. And along with that, he sent me a short story collection that he said is probably his favorite short story collection that he's ever read. And this is Dreaming at the Top of My Lungs by Israel Finn. And I'm all about it. I'm always down to incorporate new, modern, authors that are writing right now, trying to get out there, trying to put out something that they think is worthy of readership and all that. So short stories, crush them whenever I feel. But this is a nice looking book, isn't it? What a cool cover. And I'm going to just take this as I feel. So thank you very much, Josh. I'll link everybody that I'm talking about, of course, down in the description box. If you're not subscribed to any of them, then please do it. You'll thank yourself. These are the tubers that I watch and enjoy. So, looking forward, we have, I can't believe how many big books that I've read this year. I've probably read 5-6 books over 700 pages, and it still just keeps on going. Perdido Street Station's over 700. The Rise of Endymion's over 700. And so I'm just in these big books and it's right where I want to be. I love it. So we have a read-along that is being kicked off because the New York Review of Books has issued a brand new edition of J.R. by William Gaddis. This is not the new edition. This is the old edition. The first edition trade paperback is what this is. And this is a postmodern epic masterpiece, okay? I know a lot about J.R. even having not read it. So it's time. It's time for it. The Recognitions Book Club is a Instagram book junkies that I kind of follow, and that we're doing a read-along of this book because of the new edition that's coming out. And I said, I'm along for it. I didn't have anything really lined up for November, so why not fill it with one giant beast of a book? And so we're going to read through this in November. I'm going to do that in November, and a lot of people are in on this read-along. Yeah, I will put his little handle. It's just the Recognitions Book Club. Recognitions is Gaddis's first novel. And what's this about? Well, it is a capitalistic satire that is completely insane. You're in a middle school from hell. A middle school that is totally, inept and off the rails. The kid, the main personage of the book is J.R., a middle school kid named J.R., who is obsessed with these get rich quick scheme kind of stuff, and he steals a bag of money, maybe something like $25 or something. He steals some money from a play. This middle school, how ridiculous is this? This middle school is putting on a production of Richard Wagner's The Ring Cycle. Okay. So there's this money that is like the Rheingold, right? And JR steals it. He steals the Rheingold. And he uses this money to put it into some scheme of his, and ends up installing a payphone in the hallway of the school and running like a stock exchange racket out of this payphone in the middle school. He gets one of his teachers on the hook to work for him and to do different things for him, and it's just a farce. Seems so fun, so funny, and ultimately, this was written back in the 70s. So this edition that I have was published in 75, I want to say. The copyright, is 75 is when this was published. This is the first edition trade paperback. So the kind of crazy satire, capitalistic satire that it's talking about, well, that kind of stuff by now, us in 2020, it has happened. Okay, we're totally off the rails now as far as our economic system is concerned and stuff, and folks acting like it's not already destroyed, like it's already just it's already failed. They prop this economic system up all the time with all this promissory notes, which is not even worth anything. And it's just people's belief in it that is keeping this thing going now. So I'm looking to get into it. Like I said, a lot of people are in on this read along. And then finally, to end up the year in December, Lukash over at A Cruel Reader's Thesis and I are doing a buddy read of Charles Dickens' David Copperfield. I've never read it. Might as well get some classic action to end up my year. And what better in December than to read Charles Dickens, right? So I'll be jumping into this one with Lukash in December. And this one's 870 pages. I'm just reading all these big beast books. So that's why, Josh, I really appreciate the short stories and things like that, because I'm going to sprinkle those in as I just kind of need to, because I'm building these huge bricks around me, right? Walling myself up, Cask of Amontillado style, man. It's Halloween's coming. So that's the projected reading. That's what I'm reading now, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Any comments, any kind of ideas, drop me a line, and we'll go through it a little bit. The next thing I wanted to talk about is an idea that I've had, and it's not a big deal. It's something that I'm just kind of kicking around, and I probably won't do it for a little while anyways. But I just wanted to see what kind of interest there is out there. So when I talk about books on my channel, I talk about all kinds of books, and you see, if you've followed my channel, or you can look through the playlist, that I end up, speaking about myself and about my thoughts, because that is what I filter a book through. I mean, everybody does, right? So how I feel about a book, or where a book takes me in my mind, I end up having to talk about my thoughts, my way of seeing my being. And I'm a very spiritual person, not to say religious at all, but spiritual in a very deep way, maybe mystical, internal, personal spirituality. I have a very deep understanding of that kind of thing for myself, and I have been a spiritual seeker for most of my life. So for a large portion of my life, I was okay with just saying, I don't know, I don't have any idea, how could I know? And then just getting all the influence that I could. I've been to so many different kind of spiritual groups, to talked to so many different kind of spiritual practitioners of all different traditions, and been friends with so many different people who have different spiritual beliefs than I do. Or, you know, if at the time I didn't have any concrete spiritual beliefs at all. But I say all that because what I'm thinking about is I was kicking around this idea of putting out some content that is just based in Western esoteric spiritual practice. And this kind of thing is very close to my heart, and also very unpopular. Okay, it's not something that you know, a Christian is going to come across that and be like, you know, this is a cult or something like that. And you know, an atheist is going to come across it and say, you know, this is woo woo, you know, spiritual crap, you know. And so it's not going to make anybody happy. And I'm not looking to, you know, share that kind of thing publicly and to put it out there publicly, because all it will be is something for people to you know, take shots at. But I am down to share my own personal spiritual journey, my path, and my inner path work, and my spiritual, like my practical day-to-day how I handle myself, what I practice, how I practice, that kind of stuff. I am down to share that with individuals who are looking to hear and see another person's spiritual path. It gives people bearings for their own spiritual path. There is a lot of benefit to getting into that thing and into something like that, and reading about it, you know, or getting into, you know, there's so much literature that's based on this kind of thing. I mean, think Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce. Something like that. There is a lot of benefit to coming into contact with a seeker and with somebody who is a path work, you know, practitioner. And so I see benefit to that, but I am only interested in putting that out there to individuals who are wanting it. So I'm thinking that there must be a way for me to offer exclusive content, and to have people, you know, either sign up or, you know, kind of get into another thing, kind of like a Patreon, perhaps. I haven't really looked into this kind of stuff, but I think that that's what really Patreon is all about, is something like that, where individuals can sign up and then I can drop videos there that's just exclusive content only for Patreon members or something like that. And that would be the members there would be those that are really interested in hearing personal path work and personal journey stuff from me, because I'm not looking to put that out just in a public way for, you know, just anybody to find, right? I hope that's clear. And I actually would very much appreciate comments based on that kind of thing. If there's interest, then I kind of get my bearings as to whether or not now's the time or not. It might be, you know, 6 months down the road. It might be a year. You know, it just doesn't matter to me when or how or something like this. But if there is an interest, if there is a desire out there to hear that kind of thing, and that I could share more personally like that, then I will. I would be glad to, and it would be really fun. My my spiritual life, my spiritual seeking has taken me all over the place in my life, and for a long time there, I, you know, kind of was fine just not knowing, and described myself as a spiritual atheist, not a material atheist, not a materialistic person. I had a very good sense that spirituality was true, like there is a spiritual nature to mankind, but I didn't know what that spiritual nature was, or what spiritual nature even meant really, but just that there was something unseen, unknown, that, you know, wasn't taught, wasn't put out there like that. But, you know, didn't prescribe to any belief system or deity, that's for sure. And so, there's been a lot of growth from that, and the way that growth has happened, and the paths, the meandering, the kind of things that have facilitated that growth are super interesting. I would love to share and things like that, but only to those who are really interested and come at it with an open mind and know what they're getting into with it. So let me know, and if so, then I'll start thinking about it a little more seriously. Thank you very much, BookTube, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.